Hello again, everybody. Well, today we're checking out the Stones River National Battlefield. Now, this thing is spread out all over the place. We're only going to be visiting a little bit of stuff, mainly the visitor center and a few other things. But come on, guys, let's check out and see what we can see today, and let's have some fun today, shall we? And if you want to know more about the Stones River battle, you need to look it up online. It was a pretty hefty battle, as you can see by the cemetery that was here. But we are going to go over there to the visitor center. And we're going to go park over here. We have another reference to Braxton Bragg. Alright. So this and Gettysburg were pretty much, numbers-wise, the worst amount of casualty. Huh. There's way too much to see in here. So what you ought to do is come and check out this place. Ooh. The words of the soldiers. And evidently they have it rigged up so when you walk up close, the lights get brighter. That's actually great for preserving some of the stuff. Now the interesting thing about Rosencrans and Braxton Bragg is after this battle, they went down to Chattanooga. So this would have been before Chattanooga. Well, there's something you don't see every day. You never see them messed up that way. Now this whole area is actually pretty massive. So if you come down here, you really need to pay attention to stuff. And oh look, there's some of the canister shot. Can you imagine that coming at you? Or even worse, a Hotchkiss shell. So that would blow up as it came down on you.
Position in the round forest. Crossing open fields between the Nashville Pike and the railroad, they were pounded by artillery fire from Union batteries placed in the woods. The Union guns of Hazen's brigade rained down sheets of Minnie-balls upon the Tennesseans. Repeated attacks by the Confederates failed to break the Union line of defense. The Confederates were finally forced to retreat, leaving more than half their men on the field. After the battle, soldiers called these bloody fields Hell's Half-Acre.
I like how they have these little handsets so you can listen to the words of soldiers describing their experiences. That in and of itself is a pretty cool thing. Now, yes, they do have a theater. It's a 9-minute show. I don't have time for that today, but You ought to come and check it out. This is a really cool museum, and in just 3 days, 23,525 soldiers were killed, wounded, or captured. Lord. And be blessed that modern surgeons' tools are a lot better than they used to be, because those were a little rough. Now, any of you guys that collect stuff from the Civil War, there was a very famous publication called Harper's Weekly. They actually have tons of really cool maps and things. So if you ever find them, they're kind of expensive to find these days, but they are pretty cool. And this is all about publications. And then this was Fortress Rosencrans. Well, we may not be talking on it.
Fortress Rosecrans served as a Union base of operations during the occupation of Murfreesboro. The fortress protected several depots that stored and distributed food, weapons, ammunition, and other supplies. It had an army hospital for wounded soldiers. The Stones River provided water.
Well, not all of it works, but it's still pretty interesting.
And the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad. The fortress and several strategically placed blockhouses protected these vital arteries of supply and communication.
Oh, the horrors of things.
Fortress Rosecrans served as a Union base.
In 1985, workers discovered these objects inside the Hazen Brigade monument. Now, I don't know if we're going to get to see that today. Maybe not. But the fact that these were all placed in there, people don't know. But just in case we don't make it, that is the Hazen's Brigade monument. And they built it while the war was still going on.
Two major transportation routes went through the borders, the Nashville Pike and the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad. The fortress and several strategically placed blockhouses protected these vital arteries.
And this shows you the scope of everything. You have Fortress Rosencrans and everything down this way in Murfreesboro. And then you've got the park and everything up here in the visitor center. So, pretty impressive place. All right, well, after visiting the visitor center, we're going to go take our little driving tour. Now, we're only going to be doing a few of these, but it's still something interesting to see. And the nice thing is, at least 4 of these are part of a driving tour. So if you got somebody that's handicapped, they can at least go along and see this. And look at this beautiful split rail. And this is stop number 1. So while it's a little overgrown, this area right up by the gate was where the eve of the battle took place. And people were just camping out in frozen, muddy, kind of nasty situations. Now, I don't have time to stay, unfortunately, to see everything, but you can see that there is a neat little walking trail among the split rails, and they've got a lot more signs to say. The next stop will be something called the slaughter pen. And this is a very swampy area. It's hauntingly beautiful. Now there is a loop trail called the Slaughter Pen Loop. This is where some of the fiercest fighting happened, and basically both sides took very heavy losses. And they talk about how so many fell here that it was like a slaughter pen. One of the more interesting things that they have done is somebody has carved out of metal silhouettes, so it kind of gives you the idea of guys out in the woods. You can see all of these stones here that they would have been fighting amongst. It's interesting in and of itself to see this. I can only imagine trying to hide behind these rocks. Barely any cover at all. Ducking down and popping up to try to shoot, and popping down again. This whole area actually feels kind of heavy in here. Makes sense. If some of the most aggressive fighting happened in here. It's almost like it's hard to breathe. Now, if you ever get a chance to stay down here, I would recommend coming down here for an entire day, because it looks like this is almost like Chickamauga Battlefield. There is a ton of space in here to check out. So we're going to go check out the cotton field and the other positions going back to the visitor center. And then we're going to check out this monument, and we'll see what we can see. So position 3, this would have been the cotton field. Of course, now it's just overgrown with all sorts of stuff, but you can only imagine the cotton field here. And whoever did those silhouettes has made some more. I actually like the idea of these silhouettes. It really gives you an idea, man-sized things, what it would do. Is the end of the first loop. This is coming back towards the visitor center now. We'll go check out the Hazen's Brigade monument. So we'll see you there next. So this is the Hazen's Brigade monument. This was the monument that was actually being constructed while the war was still going on. So let's go take a look at this monument, shall we? Interestingly enough, there's a rock quarry or something right across the train tracks from this. Or either that or they're recycling or breaking down something. Oh, there's even a Chattanooga reference. And yes, looks like they've got several headstones. Now what you don't, there's a lot of stuff written on this, but it is very, very hard to decipher. Looks like individual names on some of them. The blood of 1/3 its soldiers twice spilled in Tennessee. Crimsons the battle flag of the brigade and inspires to greater deeds. And there are stones. Oh, wait a minute. That other sign may have what the thing says. Let me go back. Okay, so this is what the inscription said. You can see that you can barely read them. Well, guys, there's a lot more to see, but I'm out of time. So I am off to go on some more journeys. Until then, why don't you go on some journeys of your own? We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.